Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
What are we pouring out?
This is a delightful Woodford Reserve that we're about to have a test taste of and tell you all about.
A test taste? I hope to more than test it. I hope to enjoy it. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
Just a normal Woodford Reserve, right? Cheers.
Yes. Cheers.
Like the Woodford Reserve.
Yes.
In the flat bottle.
Yep.
Anyone playing at home? Label batch $3.99, bottle number 1337.
I love the
Signed by Chris Morris, because they all are. Well, at the moment they all are, but maybe Elizabeth McCall starts signing some of them soon. The
new lady.
The new distiller. The new lady. The new distiller.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, she's a lady, but yeah. So, what do we got? What are you going to tell me about Woodford?
Well, I think when it comes to bourbon...
my God. It's been a little...
He asked me a question that interrupts with how good it is.
I just nosed it. It's been 4 or 5 days since I've had bourbon. That is...
You might have a problem.
That is so good.
Oh, it is delicious, isn't it? No, what I was going to say is when I think of Woodford, I think of it as like the very elegant, sophisticated bourbon. It has this... I don't even know what it is about it. Maybe it's just...
It's the branding is what it is. Marketing is so good.
Yeah, but also when you go to the distillery, it's just so beautiful and stunning and stylish. And
it's one of our happy places, isn't it? That drive from Louisville, Kentucky to the Woodford Reserve distillery.
Beautiful drive.
That last couple of kilometres is
just picturesque, and I think like it just. Yeah, it adds to that elegance and that style, and like this is before you've even tasted the bourbon, and it just has an amazingness about it. But yeah, it smells beautiful.
On the nose, that is... It's so silly to say bourbon has vanilla-y, marshmallowy, soft and fluffy. Not vanilla milkshake for me, but like the vanilla you have when you have a really
vanilla
fluffy
bean kind of
marshmallow.
Yeah, but also like when you're baking and you get the vanilla.
Oh, yeah, like a pod. Like
yeah, pod. Yeah, that's what that really strong vanilla kind of like waft.
Yeah.
But there's definitely that oak. You can you also get the oakiness in there too.
I have been aware of Woodford Reserve maybe as soon as I knew I liked whiskey, which is I was drinking Jack Daniels and Coke in London.
Back in the day,
this is a long time. This is I'm
like
18,
teenage years,
working in a bar in London, and one of the bartenders who was like old for me, which means that he was 18 and a half.
Probably in his early 20s.
Yeah, who was a real expert, told me that the best bourbon in the world was Woodford Reserve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he really knew his stuff, but he was telling me. Anyway.
Meanwhile, I was drinking Johnny Walker and Coke.
Right. You know, we're all making our own choices. But I reckon it's a real banger, and Woodford have now such a great range of whiskies.
Yeah, would you call this like their base level standard?
It's their entry level, it's their main offering.
It's beautiful. So smooth.
So smooth. We're going to get into trouble for using the word smooth.
I haven't used it much yet.
Yeah, but stop, because it's not a good... Whiskey people don't like you using the word smooth.
Oh, why is that?
It's not a good word. It's like saying someone's nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What have I got to say instead of smooth then?
All the other words. What else are you feeling? What else do you reckon? I don't know.
There's like a smokiness, a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. See, there you go.
There's a little bit of smokiness on the tongue.
Okay.
Like you're around a campfire kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, I get a bit of that. Yeah, I'm getting that for sure.
It's that same thing of like when you smell it, you get the sweet, but when you taste it, you get that like, smoky or oaky kind of.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. It's not. Sometimes you get ones that you feel like I would describe them as like you feel like you're licking the barrel. It's kind of like that very woody, oaky.
Right.
We have are very delicious.
Our palate's similar this way. There's particular whiskies bourbons we really find hard to drink because they've got too much of that character. Whereas we are all about the sweetness.
Can't say smooth.
Vanilla-ness, the caramelness.
The word I can't say. I like that.
I like complexity as well. I like some depth to it, but if it's too much on that tobacco, oaky, woody...
if it's got tobacco in the description, I've found that they're ones that
It's like a red flag for you.
Well, yeah. Sometimes I haven't even read the descriptions or know much about them, and I'm like, there's something about that I don't like. And then when I read it, they often say it's like tobacco-y notes or aniseed or anything licoricey or tobacco-y. Not for me.
Cool. We need to get back to the Woodford Reserve. So it's the story of Woodford Reserve is unclear to me. It's a super old distillery. They definitely told me the story on the tour, or us the story on the tour.
It's one of the oldest in America.
And you can, when you walk in, you can see it, that it's super, it's got almost like ruins of a distillery. It's not quite like Castle and Key, but it's quite old and cool. And it's one of these ones where during Prohibition they stopped using it and then they cranked it up again, or they might have used it a little bit secretly and stuff. It's got the oldest barrel run in the world, for sure.
Yeah, the barrel one's amazing.
Which is like almost like train tracks that you roll the barrels on to move them around the distillery. So that's really cool. And it's
and they go from different buildings, like these mini tiny little tram tracks.
Yeah, and it's graded in a way where from where the barrel is filled to where the rickhouses are, that's kind of downhill on a very small grade. So if you just put it on and let it go, it'll roll down, it's quite a cool feat of engineering. So that's pretty cool. But the whole story is, and then I think it kind of got cranked up again, like it kind of, not that long ago, like in the last 30, 40 years, got kind of cranked back up again and became an interesting, we're going to have that wrong, but it doesn't matter.
Check your facts, but it's got a great story.
Cool story. Please don't believe everything you hear on a podcast. And then, so Lincoln Henderson, who's now at Andrew's Envy, was the master distiller there before.
First. Yeah.
Now, then Chris Morris kind of took over, and
that was his understudy was Chris.
And then Chris Morris took over, and he's now the master distiller there.
And his understudy is
Elizabeth McCall.
Yeah.
Super cool kind of lineage and doing amazing things and cool
Youngest
flavours.
Female distiller in America, or am I making a big claim there?
I'm not sure. One of surely, yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely
she's in the mix.
Yeah, and they're doing some really cool and inventive things. And one of the coolest and most inventive things, for me at least, again, love the palette of the sweet things and all that kind of stuff, is the Woodford Double Oaked. Chris Morris was responsible for that in his time as the only master distiller there. And he kind of brought that into the mix. And I don't know whether or not it was inspired by the 1910 thing that Old Forester were doing, but
maybe.
Really cool. Also, both in the Brown Forman group.
Yeah.
Such a cool bourbon.
Yeah. I love a Woodford Reserve or Woodford Double Oaked in my Old Fashioned, which is my favourite bourbon cocktail.
Can we reveal the recipe, your favourite recipe for a for an Old Fashioned? Because you have a very specific recipe.
Oh yeah, you can reveal it. You make them mostly.
It's not. And the recipe came from the distillery at Woodford Reserve.
Yeah, they do this really cool thing at the bar, and they give you these little recipe cards, and take them home and take your bottle with you, and you can make these delicious cocktails. It was fabulous.
You start with the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, then you use their Woodford Reserve chocolate bitters, but you could use any chocolate bitters.
Yep.
And then instead of using a sugar syrup, or instead of using sugar,
they just put a bit of maple syrup in.
Maple syrup.
It's delicious.
It's so good. And then we garnish with a bit of orange.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Yeah. Make it look pretty.
So
Gotta
good.
be stylish and elegant, like Woodford.
Exactly. So the experience at Woodford Reserve Distillery is definitely worth
level,
getting out to. They are so aligned with the Kentucky Derby and with horse racing and with horses. And as you drive out there,
that's a lot of.
You see it. You're basically driving through white fences with horses in fields, and so they're in the thick of
and stables and
right.
It's a beautiful countryside. And even if you're not going to go on a distillery tour, they have a fabulous over the road. There's a fabulous bar that serves all their whiskies and bourbons. And it's just worth a drive out there, see the countryside, and then stop at the bar and taste all the delicious bourbons on offer.
You make an important point because they do whiskies as well as bourbon. So they do their bourbons and they do like a wheat whiskey, they do a rye, they do a few, I'm going to get them all wrong. And then, of course, they do all the different expressions they do there. And
they were one of the people I found at their tasting were very open about the recipe as well. Like some places didn't really share. They gave you a general guide as to what they put in, but they said something about 72% corn. That was a very corny.
Wow, are you going to get the mash bill here? I don't know.
I can't remember the rest, but I remember it was a large portion of corn.
Okay, cool. I'm going to take your word for it. Amazing. If you can get out there, in Australia, you can get Woodford Reserve everywhere. You can get it at every bottle-o. And at almost every bottle-o, you can get the slightly fatter bottle, which is double oaked. We'll do another ep on that. But Woodford Reserve is a banger. Yep. You can get that and you can have it neat. It's delicious. But if you want to mix it with something...
Have it on ice or in a old-fashioned cocktail. Absolutely highly recommend.
Go ahead. Make our day. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.